Hi, Kelly. I really appreciated your initial post on the prompt of exploratory data analysis, and I thought you had some really good points and some good ideas. I especially appreciated your idea of structured freedom, especially your argument that exploratory data analysis is not itself the problem. The problem beginning when exploratory findings are presented with inferential weight of pre-specified confirmatory findings. I also liked your connection to planned contrast. A biologically motivated comparison defined before the main analysis generally has a stronger inferential status than a comparison selected after reviewing many possibilities. Although I think the distinction becomes a bit difficult to maintain in real-world research conditions. For example, a comparison may technically be planned, but the investigators may already have seen pilot data, previous versions of data sets, or related results that influence the plan. I think simply calling several comparisons planned does not automatically eliminate the risk of inflated type 1 error, but if the researchers pre-specify many contrasts, they may still need to define the relevant family of tests and use an appropriate multiplicity strategy. I think this is where the domain expertise has two opposing effects. I think expertise can help researchers choose biologically plausible variables, interactions, and subgroup comparisons rather than testing every possible relationship, sort of contributing to optimization and efficiency of research. But at the same time, familiarity with the disease mechanism may make researchers more likely to favor patterns that support their expectations and dismiss patterns that do not. Expertise can therefore sharpen exploration, but can also create motivated reasoning. Um, I see this tension in a project I'm working on. I mentioned it in my initial post, but I'm going to restate it. I'm working on an anhedonia project, starting with GWAS loci association with anhedonia, and I'm planning to examine the relationship with gene expression using RNA sequencing and EQTL data across different psychiatric groups, diagnostic groups. I'm later planning on a bit more testing, but this is what I have for the moment. So domain knowledge helps me justify which diagnosis, genes, covariates, and interactions are most relevant. However, because I have so many diagnostic contexts available to me, it would be easy to continue adding groups until associations appeared. That's kind of the issue I'm trying to illustrate. So a defensible approach would be to specify the primary diagnostic contrasts, covariate statistical model, and multiple testing strategies in advance. After, I could then examine additional groups if data suggests an unexpected pattern, but those results would need to be labeled exploratory and ideally tested in an independent dataset. I would therefore slightly extend your governance proposal. Disclosure should include not only whether an analysis was planned, but also the scope of analytical research, major model changes, and whether the conclusion remains stable under reasonable alternative specifications. Researchers do not need to report every keystroke, obviously, but they should report decisions that materially change the result. So, to kind of connect back to the main prompt, I think your distinction is operationally useful, but only if it is based on the inferential status of the claim rather than the simple label of planned or exploratory. Structured freedom works excellently when the freedom remains visible and the strength of the conclusion matches the way the findings were obtained. Those are just my thoughts. I think overall you had an excellent initial post, and I'm really eager to hear if you have any response or your final thoughts later on. I appreciate you listening, and let me know if you have any questions or comments or want to continue discussion on anything I said. Thank you so much, Kelly, and I hope you have a wonderful day.